Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to Queen Ahmadiyyah TV presents Beyond the Realm. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time I go live on this channel. Okay? Thank you all for returning right back to the chats. Let's get ready to get into it. Sony says, forget you, Satan. Aaron says, I heard about the strange thing regarding the Exorcist. Used to have nightmares of its movie. Okay, so let's listen to this, people. Catholic priest who inspired the Exorcist died from a fall after a possessed child spoke to him and he was pushed over by an invisible force. This is what a CIA agent claims. Now, a Catholic priest who inspired the movie The Exorcist died from a fall after what he claims was a possessed child speaking to him. Now, the new revelation comes from a CIA agent after it had been widely reported that Father Malachi Martin from Ireland, told a friend that an invisible force had pushed him to his death. Now, ahead of the release of the new documentary, his close friend, Robert Marrow, had lifted the lid on the moment that he believes the priest was effectively killed when a possessed 4-year-old girl that he was supposed to be exorcising spoke to him in America. Oh, they're showing pictures of the Exorcist, and I do not want to see that. Okay? Now, former CIA agent Mr. Marrow retracted the steps to Connecticut, where Father Martin had offered to carry out an exorcism on the 4-year-old girl. When he arrived at the neutral home, the family was already there, and the girl walked up to the priest and said, "So you're Malachi Martin, and you think you can help her?" This is what the little girl said to him. Clearly a demon, mind you, suggesting that she was talking while having an out-of-body experience. Now, it has been claimed that after the exchange in 1999, a fall led to his death from a head trauma at the age of 78. He told a friend that it was caused by an invisible force that had pushed him. By this time, the father from Country Kerry in southwestern Ireland was hiring himself out as a private exorcist, and it is believed he was the inspiration behind the famous film that was released in 1973, The Exorcist. Now, due to Father Martin's age, Mr. Morrow drove him to his clients across America, where he had relocated after turning his back on the church. The former CIA agent told RTE the encounter between the priest and the girl was most disturbing. In fact, the most disturbing thing he'd ever seen, according to Rachel Lysite, who also wrote the new documentary that was going to come out. And it was supposed to be available on Netflix. So some of you may have seen it. I haven't seen it yet. Now, they say it is not the first time that the 1973 cult classic had been linked to creepy curses. You see, the Exorcist actors Jack McGowan and Vasiliki Maliaros both died when the film was still in post-production. The Exorcist was Mark McGowan's last film as the alcoholic director Burke Dennings. Remember, he was the one that Reagan, the child that was possessed, I think he's the one that she threw from the window, and they said his head was turned around backwards, right? After he was supposed to be watching her for her mother in the movie. Now, Miliaros, who played Karras, that was the younger priest, Father Karras, remember him? Well, the guy who played him, Miliaros, who played Karras's mother, not the priest, but the person who played his mother, Father Karras's mother, also died before the film was even released. And they both died in New York. Now, on the first day of filming, there were also 2 deaths close relatives of the main cast. Now, this is all sounding real strange. Linda Blair, who played the possessed child Reagan McNeil, lost her grandfather. And Max von Sydow, who was freeing Blair from her demons on the screen, lost his brother. Coincidence, people? Do you all think so? Because I clearly don't. Because, you know, I read long ago that when the devil is called out, he causes phenomenon to occur. Now, I'm going to play for you this video. This looks also creepy. I don't want to see any of that. Okay, because there was a book written about it, and I believe the book is called Hostage to the Devil. I think that's the name of the book. They have the title right here. Hostage to the Devil, the true story of Father Malachi Martin. So I'm going to show you all this video. Let me share the screen. Everyone, please get those likes up, like, and share. I'm burning my sage just so you all know. Burning my sage, honey. I advise you all to do the same. Okay? Peace.
Have you seen this space-age roofing product that lowers energy bills without solar panels or batteries? This previously unknown product will soon be available across the United States.
This must be a trailer to the documentary.
Whether we like it or not, the devil does exist. He can influence, and he does influence.
Exorcism then is a healing, and it's a very hard healing, but it does heal. Because inside they're living hell. It's a living hell.
Anybody who exposes the devil is in danger. The word of God is the truth. The devil does not want people hearing the word of God.
Satan is having his last stand. This is his Waterloo, where he's going to destroy as much as he can before he finally is shoved out of the abyss again, chained by Michael.
We did not talk an awful lot about his exorcisms, except the last one. I kept asking him not to do it, and he kept saying, well, I'm only going to be an assistant. Not much chance of that.
I still believe that Maliki was the target and not that little girl. She was the bait.
We're talking about a 4-year-old child. She was innocence personified. There was no reason why this kid should have been afflicted in this way. And he was called by Christ to do these things.
He was a great mythomaniac. He was just a liar and a scoundrel and a cheat.
He's a warrior. He was a warrior for God, and he still is a warrior for God.
He came face to face with something that none of us have ever encountered that ultimately was responsible for taking his life.
Stoney said, imagine Satan burning sage mocking us. I don't think he wants to burn sage. Paris said, let me burn my sage stick now. Absolutely. Brother Sly says he actually wrote the Lord's Prayer backwards in the form of a rap song, and it turned out to be an incantation. My cousin is deep into that wickedness. Really? Who writes the Lord's Prayer backwards? Who, honey? Nefarious. Louise said, my sage is burning. Yes, honey, and so is mine. Clearly crazy, right? But hold on, there's more. Hold on. They say that Martin died at age 78 after suffering from head trauma in the fall. The documentary, which debuted on Netflix, takes a look into Martin's work as a Jesuit priest, professor, and author, and most notably an exorcist, a career he turned to after moving to New York in 1966, according to the Mirror. When he left the church, he moved to New York in 1966, and he had various jobs, including taxi driver, waiter, and as a writer also. But really, he saw that there was a need There was a need there for people to be assisted and to be given support in terms of relief. I suppose from the sort of either demonic infestation or someone themselves or their home, and felt that the church wasn't providing the support anymore. So that's why he left. Martin's decades of work as a spiritual leader or spiritual healer inspired the cult classic 1973 movie, The Exorcist. And let me say this. They talk about infestation. There's 3 stages of possession, as I told you all before. The first stage is infestation. It is when the malevolent spirits, right, enter the dwelling of the occupant that they want to possess eventually. So you may hear things like knockings in the wall, like scratchings in the wall. And when you hear these things, you hear it in 3s. Like you hear it tap, tap, tap 3 times. Demons love the number 3. So you'll hear 3 growls, maybe 3 scratches in the walls, or 3 knocks at your door, and you go and open it and there's no one there. Okay? All very scary. And then the second stage after the infestation is actually oppression comes first. I think it's oppression. Oppression comes first and then the infestation. I could be getting these confused. I believe it's the infestation, but then the oppression starts, because once the malevolent spirit enters the dwelling, then it starts to oppress the targeted victim. The person starts to have suicidal thoughts. They may start cutting themselves. If you remember, if you saw the documentary about Left Eye, remember Left Eye was over in Honduras to visit Dr. Sabi, and she said that she used to cut herself. People say they cut themselves to release the pain or whatever. That's demons making them do those things. Injuring yourself, purposely hurting yourself, that's all demonic, right? And remember, she also said that there was a spirit that she would dream about every night that was chasing her. I remember when she ran over that little boy, his last name was Lopez, like her last name was Lopez. And she said that when she killed him in that car accident a week prior to her own death, she said the spirit was trying to kill her, but it killed the little boy by mistake because they had the same last name. And then a week later, she was dead. Okay? So she clearly knew there was something following her, and she was exhibiting some of the traits because she was cutting herself. Those are all self-mutilation. Those are all signs of demonic possession, all right? Or demonic oppression. So after the infestation, then the oppression, and then the final stage is possession, when the demonic entity takes full control of the targeted person's body, literally takes over and starts making them do all sorts of nefarious things. Okay? Infamous Kim said, I didn't know that. Yes, absolutely crazy. And let me tell you something. You can sometimes, if you're a sensitive person, very intuitive, or you use your spiritual gifts, because I think we all have spiritual gifts. Some people just don't know they have them because they don't believe it, or they just lie dormant because you don't put them to use, right? Or you don't sharpen them to make them more prominent in their works. But some of the signs of a demonic entity being present, other than just the scratchings and the tappings, or you may see things being moved out of place. You may see things moving around by themselves. You may hear growling noises. You may wake up with 3 scratches across any part of your body. And because remember, they do everything in 3s for whatever reason. Like I said, knocks on the doors and you go look and nobody is there, right? Nobody's in sight. All sorts of weird things, foul stenches in the air, very loud, pungent smells. Smells like boiled, it smells like mop water, poop, right? Urine, like a sewer. It just stinks. Trust me, I have smelled it before. And the first thing I said was there's an unclean spirit in here. So I started reading the 91st Psalm and also quoting the prayer of Archangel Michael and burning sage, of course. Now, the person whose house this was, where I smelled that, and I told them what it was, they seemed unbothered. Because, in fact, they knew what it was. Because before I said it, they said, oh, yeah. Well, I called them into the room, and I said, do you smell that? And they were like, oh, yeah, that's an unclean spirit. And they just went on about their business. I'm like, you're not even concerned? Like, you're really just not even going to pray and try to get it out of here? So I thought that was crazy. But it wasn't so crazy because later on, I realized that person literally had demons attached to them. Okay, because I saw their demons like weeks later. Very strange. Okay, very strange. Now, Marjorie says, keep up the great work. Blessings abundant. Thank you, beloved. Thank you for your kind words and your contribution. Peace, love, and blessings to you. Yes, they didn't seem the least bit bothered. They said, oh, that's an unclean spirit. So very strange, if you ask me. Now, here's another video on this article. I don't know if it's the same video. Let me see. It could be the same thing, the trailer. Let me see just a second. I actually think it's the same thing. Karma Code says, Queen, the nursing home smells like that, and some of the people in that place. Let me tell y'all something. Yeah, absolutely. You will find things like that. Yeah, it's the same video, so I'm not going to show that, but you will absolutely experience things like that in nursing homes and hospitals and things like that. Okay. I remember being in the hospital to visit someone years ago. And so right as visiting hours were about to end, there was a woman who was sharing the room with my relative, right? And they had like a curtain between them just to divide them. But there was a nurse who was sitting there watching this woman. So as we're leaving, I asked one of the nurses, I said, is that woman okay? Because I thought she was crazy. She was saying weird stuff, talking in strange voices. And then there was a nurse always sitting there watching her. Then one nurse would leave and another one would come. So I asked one of the nurses, I said, is that woman okay? Is it safe, for my relative to be in there with her? And so they said, the nurse was like, well, just between me and you, she said, that woman has demons. And I said, what? She said, yes, she has demons. She talks to herself. She makes threats. She's very violent at times. And she said, that's why we have to have a nurse watching her at all times so that she doesn't hurt herself or somebody else. And I said, wait a minute. But then why do you have my cousin in there with her? I said, you're going to have to switch rooms. Because first of all, I'm like, I'm not going to be coming here to visit my relative and there's a whole demon in the same room. Please, okay? So yes, we had them to switch rooms. Like that was clearly crazy. Maybe they had unclean intestines. Okay, Smoketown. Paris says, I used to burn frankincense and myrrh on charcoal. Yes, absolutely. I still burn frankincense and myrrh. Okay. Infamous Kim said, Queen, you got to be careful. Yes, absolutely. Melly said it is because spirits are coming and going. Right, absolutely. Because people die in hospitals. This is absolutely true. A Hebrew sister says they mock the Trinity of Christ. Lord, they act like it's normal. Some people do, LeVar. Cherokee Descendant King said, one of my best friends said she's see and talk with Nipsey Hussle and King Von. So your friend sees and talks to rappers who've passed on? That's it? Just rappers? Okay, yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe she thinks that she does. Clearly, that could be demons trying to fool her because they'll come and masquerade as someone or something that you like, know, or enjoy. Judah Queen said, I can't find my sage. Karma Cook says, this woman grabbed me one time and snatched me like a wild animal. Sounds scary. Paris says, it get rid of evil spirits and wickedness. So anyway, that was clearly crazy, right? So they say the documentary was on Netflix. I haven't seen it. Maybe you all will watch it. But I hope you all enjoy that scary story. Clearly, I never knew that the priest in the movie was based off of a real person. I did, however, know that the story of Reagan, the girl who was possessed in the movie, I know that came from an actual event that happened in Georgetown, Chicago back in 1949. It was a boy. Now, they called him by the name of Roland, but that wasn't his real name. They never released his real name. There was documented information about and details about all of the things that happened because the priest who was actively performing the exorcism on the child actually kept a journal. And that's how author William Peter Blatty got so much of his information when he wrote the book, which was then turned into the 1973 movie, The Exorcist. And then I'm going to have to show you all one day that the place where they took that boy to in real life, the one who was supposedly possessed. And another thing too, when they made the movie, they turned the character into a girl rather than a boy because the family was so afraid that someone would find out that it was their child that was the one who was possessed, right? But so there was a story I saw years ago. I saw a video, and the asylum or the mental health facility that they took the child to when he was possessed, that place is still haunted till this day. Like they had some paranormal investigators go there, and it was all kinds of crazy stuff happening. You couldn't pay me to go there, period. And you could still hear screams and all kinds of stuff. So they said. Okay. October Open said, Queen, you gotta uplift us. Okay, beloved. Oh. Paris said, yeah, I remember that. Louise says he sure did. Yes. Smoketown says, right, Queen, demons lie. Yes, they absolutely do. You can't believe anything they say. They will come to you like they're a dead relative or somebody, you know, that has passed on, just so they can get your trust, and you sit there and talk to them. Dark Skin Brother said, right, and I'm getting my spirit stronger every day. I can never hurt anyone, and I definitely don't want no evil spirit in me unless it's the Most High. Absolutely. So with that all being said, I want to thank you all for tuning in once again. Please like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Be sure you click the notification bell and click the word all. And don't forget to text the word Royals to 1-844-589-6096 in order to receive occasional text offers, notifications, and alerts. And I hope to see you all in the chats in the morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for your morning wake-up call. And don't forget, in the morning, we're going to be having revolutionary Yarima Karama is going to be speaking on my channel. He's coming to, to pay us a visit again. So make sure you tune in for that. You don't want to miss it, okay? So enjoy the rest of this lovely evening. And until next time, Royal Family, I'll talk to you all again soon. Peace.